If you think becoming an AI product manager is about learning a few AI tools or adding AI to your resume, that's not how hiring works anymore. The truth is, every product manager today uses AI, but the people getting hired operate at a very different level. Companies don't want PMs who write documents because documents are being replaced by working prototypes and real production grade products built using AI. The rules of the games have changed, and if you don't adapt, you'll keep preparing for a role that no longer exists. In this video, I will systematically show you how AI PM's roles actually work today, the different types of AI PMs you should know about, and a clear roadmap to position yourself to get hired in the AI age.
I recently put a meme on LinkedIn that we laughed at all the PMs and now it's the only job left. Now it's the only job left. Makes sense. Let me just move across. So what used to happen earlier, right? क्यों थे product managers, right? So most roles, right, had some outcome, right? A programmer had to write good code, right, and basically build a scalable system. A marketer had to essentially build marketing funnels or look at marketing creative so that more customers come, right? Salespeople used to do convert sales, right? Other people used to do all of this stuff, but they had like very specific limited goals, right? That even if an engineer used to put out really good code, right, even if the product didn't work or the customer didn't like it, he still used to get paid, right? Similarly, if a marketer essentially gave out very good creatives, right, and even if the product didn't work, right, but there were enough customers, the marketer did a good job, right? The role of a PM was all encompassing. It was very similar to an entrepreneur because the role of a PM was no matter if we have good code, no matter we have good marketing, no matter if we do good sales, no matter if we good customer service, if my customer is saying that I don't like the product, it didn't change anything in my life, you are fired. As simple as that, right? So it was a role which was all encompassing in nature. And that is the reason you see that very famous diagram. Na? Product manager is the intersection of business, tech, and design. The reason was it came from the principle because you are just loyal to your customer or loyal to the problem, right? If the problem didn't get solved, you are not doing a good job. As simple as that. And hence, the role of a product manager was to write an instruction diagram or an instruction set, which is like a PRD, a product requirement document, right? Which used to then go to an engineer, then go to a marketer, that this is the kind of GTM that we have to make. GTM basically means go to market. Like हमने आपके लिए क्या किया? हमने posts डाली LinkedIn पे, आप सब लोग आए, आपने group join किया, अब आप इस class में बैठे हो. This is called a GTM, go to market, right? So the goal of a PM was to orchestrate all of this, right? That a marketer should do his job well, a sales guy should do the sales the right way, a coder should write code in the most meaningful way, right? And if that orchestration is done well, and that orchestration will never go away, right? Even if we go 10,000 years in the future, even a general in a war is doing orchestration. As simple as that, right? It's telling captains should be here, Navy people should be here, right? Air Force people should be here. So you have to understand that there are two kinds of roles always in the world. One are called task-based roles, right? Very simple, where you have to achieve a task and the task can be big or small. It can be a big task as like define the marketing strategy for me, as big as that, or it can be a small task, make a creative for me, right? But there is an all-encompassing role where the role is win the war or build a $10 million vertical, right? That is always going to happen. So please try and understand that the role of a product manager is not specific to building a product. It is specific to the fact that can you think horizontally and tie multiple pieces of a system together to achieve a certain outcome for your end customer and your business, right? And that is why the role of a product manager is everlasting. It's like the mechanical engineering of the world. कि आपके पापा बोलते थे ना कि it's a evergreen role, right? And you have to understand that it is not because I am saying it. It is logical enough to understand that it is going to work like that. It is obviously because tomorrow, even if the role changes, let's change the name of product manager to some other role, right? You'd still need a generalist, right? Ritu kal apni dukaan chala rahi hogi. For example, she opens a store. She has to think for everything. She has to think, does she have enough commodities in the shop? Are enough customers coming into the shop? Is she selling the products at the right price, right? Are customers happy, right? So she is doing that orchestration. Even a mother in your house is doing orchestration. Is she not? She's making food for you. She's going to an office. She's giving you gyan. She's giving you motivation. So the role of an orchestrator is all around us. We just call it a product manager because it seems very nice that somebody in 2004 coined this role of a product manager and we feel good about it. But what used to happen? Because if you're doing so much orchestration, can you go deep into skills? Like, for example, who will make a better food, or who will make a better, probably, if you are making some, cooking some food, somebody who spends 10 hours just making and learning that skill, or somebody who's just spending 1 hour and just understanding the nuances of it, right? Obviously, a person who spends 10 hours or 20 hours doing that, right? Or 30 hours doing that. And that is the reason product managers probably didn't knew how to write code, because they cannot go as deep, because their role is only not just that to understand code. Their role is to understand other 5 different verticals. It's like saying, if I give Ritu or from Athar, like 10 tasks, and there are only 20 hours in the day, the maximum he can spend on any task is 2 hours. Unless I am assuming that he doesn't sleep. He's sleeping also, right? For some time, right? But if I give him only one task, that your goal is to just write code, right? Then he can spend 20 hours and develop depth in that role. But अब क्या हो रहा है? अब सबसे पावरफुल चीज हो रही है, अब आपको वो डेप्थ डेवलप नहीं करनी, because if you are doing good instruction design, there is a senior engineer sitting with you, right, and saying that now I will do it. It's like saying that Ritu hired a very good cook and she just came up with a very good instruction design that these are the sandwiches that people of in my shop like, right? And you have to make it very nice. You have to give enough seasoning on it. You have to give the right vegetables. You have to take out gluten from it. And the cook is a non-tiring, all the time working cook. And that cook is making that across. So ideally, Ritu did that job because she instructed that cook to essentially do that across. So logically, the artifact for Ritu was not this instruction, but actually the sandwich that actually came at the end of it. This is why the world of AI has changed everything. It is making the 2 roles, which I said, one is task-based roles, which I said, and the second are judgment-based roles, where you make judgment decisions. Like, आपने ये decision बनाया, अभी आपने एक clickbaity title देखा, how to get hired as an AI PM in 2026. Out of the 200 people, maybe 100 people came for that. 50 people probably did their discovery and understood कि यार ये तो 2 घंटे में समझाया ही नहीं जा सकता, ये तो मोटा मोटा हाई लेवल बात होगी यहाँ पे. तो 30 people said कि probably कोई ऐसी डीप बात होगी जो मैंने अपनी डिस्कवरी की है and I will be able to apply that across, and 20 people will be like नहीं यार श्रवण भैया सिखा रहे हैं तो उनका लास्ट मास्टर क्लास भी देखा था, अब यार अच्छे क्वेश्चंस पूछूंगा. So people came with different intent, right? 100%, right? But the reality of the role is, the reality that is going to happen today is that because of this discovery, people who have done their discovery, watched my previous masterclass, went to YouTube, are going to derive the most value from this session. And people who have just come with not a lot of discovery, just with high-level questions, are going to take high-level information from it. So it is going to be extremely valuable for people, right? So the old world was like that, where PMs just used to produce requirements, consolidated documents, tracked releases, stuff like, because they knew that it is very hard for them to actually go deep into that vertical and kind of step in and build something around it, right? So most hiring used to be focused on, can you write a good PRD? Right? Do you have domain knowledge? Right? Can you speak to a lot of stakeholders in the same company? Right? Obviously, right? Like, for example, if you're speaking to an engineer, you have to speak a different language, right? You cannot, and if you go to a CXO and you tell कि सर हमारा API फट गया था इसलिए हमारे responses, CXO बोलेगा भाई क्या बोल रहा है? What are you saying? Right? My goal is not to look at the company from that. So stakeholder management used to be, and finally what used to happen was this orchestrator was always called here, what are you doing? You're just only having conversations with people and people are paying you for it. But reality was not that. The reality was good PMs used to bring this, and this orchestration is really, really paid for. This orchestration is really valuable. I'll give you another example. If you look at a super app, why do we feel that this concept of a super app came so long back, right? An app which can do everything, right? But often said than not, most companies fail to build it. Reason? Because there were so many interactions, so many things that are happening. There is no structured way of achieving that across, right? And see, that is so. But if you go to WeChat in China, do you know? Everything happens on WeChat. Everything, from transactions, from buying stuff, from making certain stuff, from building infrastructure, from communicating. How did they do that? Because there was one guy whose name was Alan Zhang. Alan Zhang is the founder of WeChat, right? And he was an insanely great orchestrator, right? That what should come next, what should come next, what should come next, what should come next. And that is the reason. Please try and understand the role of PMing, the orchestration part of it, like basically to write the right requirements, to make ambiguity break into, like, it's like saying, if you give a statement to LLM like, build me a beautiful website. What does that even mean? It's like me, if I go to a designer and say, build me a beautiful website. वो बोलेगा, भाई क्या बोल रहा है? What are you saying? Right? But if you say, build me a beautiful website, what I mean by that is it should have isomorphic design. The button should be 3D in nature, right? Whenever I click, there should be an appropriate sound around it, right? When I click from one page to another page, there should be a shimmering transition, right? From in the next page, whenever I'm using it across, the asset should load preloaded, right? Now, this is called a proper instruction design where you can break it into tasks and achieve them across, right? And that is the reason instruction design is always going to stay, right? But in the old world, the only way to assess that was how good is your document, right? And that is the reason PMs used to focus a lot on roadmaps, features, users. PM is always a great communicator. PMs used to have required functional expertise. Now, what I want you to notice very clearly is ये अभी भी चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं है ये नहीं चाहिए कि ये चला गया. This is very, 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 very important. If you don't know how to think, LLMs are not going to do you any justice. Please try and understand, or any LLM, whether it is Gemini, Quinn, whichever Kimi you are using, Claude, whichever you are using, they are not going to do any justice. You still have to be very good in your product intuition and your thinking skills. If you don't know how to write, it's like saying, मैं राहुल के पास जाऊँ, रोहित के पास जाऊंगा और बोलूंगा, रोहित यार एक काम करते हैं, एक बढ़िया सी दुकान बना देते हैं. रोहित बोलेगा, भैया क्या बोल रहे हो? What the hell are you saying? Right? Explain it to me. What do you mean by a good shop? Does it mean that we should have more profits? Does it mean that customers should come back? Does it mean that for new customers, the flow should be different? Does it mean that for old customers? So there can be deep and deep questions. The person who is asking these high level questions, like it's like saying the same clickbaity title, how to get hired as an AI PM in 2026. It's very clickbaity, right? But if you go deeper and say that I come from this background, I probably have spent considerable amount of time thinking about B2B workflows, right? And in those workflows, I have understood that people fail oftentimes in onboarding. So what would be an appropriate way to onboard students? Now, that becomes a deeper question to ask, which shows that you probably thought about the workflow. So first thing, in the old world, everything is important. So please don't miss any of it. Don't think that this intuition, this thinking paradigm is going away. No, it is not. It is like the base of you to become a good product manager in 2026 or in the future. Now, what is really happening now? Right? आप क्या देख रहे हो? आप देख रहे हो, अभी Amazon just laid off 16,000 people, right? In the last 1 year, 2 lakh plus people across companies in Microsoft, Google, IBM, Dell have been laid off. And these are all FANG companies. इसके ऊपर कहां जाओगे? Most people तो आप यही सोचते हो कि यार कि I will work in Microsoft, then probably I have job security all my life, then I'll earn a very good salary, then I have a brand statement that I'm a PM at Microsoft, right? And so people are getting laid off after 25 years, 20 years, right? तो कहां की loyalty, bro? कौन सी loyalty, right? The reality is because they started to understand. And do you know what has recently happened? Infosys just partnered with Cognition. Cognition is a AI software engineer company. क्यों किया Infosys ने पार्टनर? Infosys तो वैसे ही सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर को 3 लाख रुपए पे हायर करती थी साल का. Because they realized, why am I even paying $3,000 when I can get it done in $100 a year and probably in a better way and with a client which doesn't sleep? So the service industry is going to get badly hit. अगर आपको ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा तो probably आप future में आगे नहीं देख रहे हो. It's like a bulldozer is coming towards you and you don't even see it because of fog. But the bulldozer is still there. It's still there and it's coming towards you. That is the reason AI is mostly automating all task-based jobs. And now they are moving toward judgment-based roles also. So if you go to Twitter or if you go to Reddit or you go to Substack, you would essentially see that there are promises made by AI companies that they are now essentially automating entire marketing divisions, not just a marketing asset, right? Not just generating images. They are saying that we can rethink the orchestration part also and do the execution part also. Like we can think about a strategy for your company and then execute that across in the most meaningful way. So this is the reason layoffs are happening so badly, right? Because people have come to realize that models are becoming so good, so good, so good that why do I need a human to do it? And especially when a human is not really enabling the strategy part of it or the thinking part of it, right? Most of the time, most people used to get hired because of arbitrage. India ki service industry contributes to 52% of India's GDP. By the way, it contributes more than agriculture in that sense, right? In terms of just GDP per capita. I think agriculture is still 40%, it's 30-35%, but I might be wrong in those numbers, but it's a very large industry. 35-40% is contributed by service industry. And do you know which is going to get the most hit? The service industry itself. And why? Do you know why it scaled? Why did Infosys, IBM, all of these companies scaled? Very simple reason. Arbitrage. The same engineer in the US would have cost you $200,000 to hire. In India, the same person is getting hired for 5 lakh rupees or 8 lakh rupees, right? And most of the company is making. And it's just giving 8 lakh rupees to the engineer. And that is the reason they hired people in bulk. आपको क्या लगता है कि Infosys या all of these companies ये आपके चाचा ताए हैं जो इतने लोगों को हायर करते हैं? नहीं. Please try and understand. It is just value for them. That is why they are making this across. And now they have realized there is an even better way to do it. So why the hell should I hire like 100 people or 500 people or 1,000 people in a year? So most tech layoffs are significant. They are firing people from tech, from marketing, from sales, from product, from all places, right? And you would realize that entry-level PM roles are dying because they have now come to realize that most entry-level PM roles used to focus on task-based economy. Like मैं आपको हमेशा एक बात बोलता हूँ, APMs to SPMs to PPMs to director of product. Do you know what happens in a product role? Ambiguity increases. In most other roles, it decreases. As an APM, somebody will say, build me a chatbot feature. Very specific. As a PM, the question will be, what feature should I build so increase engagement? As an SPM, it will be, what problem am I solving to increase engagement? As a principal product manager, it will be, which problem should I solve? Is engagement even the real problem to get solved? So ambiguity is increasing. Now I said, most task-based roles where ambiguity is not there, they are getting automated. You are seeing it left, right, and center. So APM roles are dying. But do you know what is really happening the other way around? PM and SPM roles are seeing an uptick. They are seeing that more and more PMs and SPM roles are coming. Do you know why? Because thinking has started taking precedence. A PM is told to think, which feature should you ship? And in order to think, you have to ask a lot of questions. For whom, which customer? Am I solving the right problem? Is it the right way to ship it? Am I tracking the right thing? Right? And that is the reason all judgment-based roles are growing drastically. But what you see is the unfortunate pyramid. 90% of the roles were not just judgment-based roles, they were task-based roles. So wahan to firing hi ho rahi hai. So you see that most roles are dying. But the 10% roles are becoming 15, 20, 30. But they were already less. They were already 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 roles. And now they are becoming 10,000. But so in the total economy, A plus B, you're seeing the roles are going less. And that's the reason you see more and more layoffs happening. But all judgment-based roles are increasing drastically, right? Companies are exceptionally investing in AI, right? And they are investing there and they say that they will essentially reach maturity very soon, right? And they're investing. And in the next 15 years, they're going to overinvest in AI. So if you are not leveraging AI to make your role from a task-based to a judgment-based role or a thinking-based role, I think you are at a losing end. And finally, many layoffs and reorganizations have explicitly cited AI as their core. Amazon, do you know what it said? While laying off 16,000 people, it laid off 2 days back. Do you know what it said? They're investing $35 billion in AI infrastructure. A company is laying off 16,000 people and it's like saying मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है पर मैं 1 लाख रुपए का iPhone खरीद रहा हूं. It's like saying that thing. Can you believe that? One place you are saying that I don't have money. The other place you're saying, oh, I bought this iPhone 17 Pro. The reason is because they have understood that it is better to have fewer employees, right? But employees who can do the job well. And what are those employees? An employee who doesn't sleep, doesn't get tired, has always persistent memory, right? Does a job in a fraction of a cost. Why would they not do it? They are going to make record profits. record profits, right? This is the reason the world is split into two places, the haves and the have-nots, right? So please don't be here. Please try and understand if your job was a simple automation, or you were writing some basically some basic PRDs, or you were writing some basic structures of thought, or you were doing some basic automation. That role is not going to exist anymore, whether you realize it. Maybe in India it is slightly later. 1 साल रहेगा, 2 साल रहेगा, आपके साथ भी ये होगा. ये मैं आज ही बता रहा हूं. और इस बात को ये इट्स नॉट अबाउट, डोंट फील अफ्रेड ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट आई एम सेइंग दिस इज अ रियलिटी. वेदर यू डोंट बिलीव मी और यू बिलीव मी, देयर इज इनफ प्रूफ ऑन द इंटरनेट फॉर यू टू इट इज essentially ascertain that. Does that make sense? So what is really now, what is the leverage for people now? Now people are moving towards be the builder PM. Show your thinking ability, that you can build stuff, that you can essentially think of 5 complicated things, merge them together, use an LLM and ship it out. And don't just say it, actually ship it out, right? Show that product. Second, because LLMs are never tiring, they are not like कि अगर मैं अथर्व के साथ काम कर रहा हूं, जैसे अथर्व, उसको मैं काम बोलता हूं, ये हमेशा 4 दिन लगाता है उस काम को करने के लिए, जनरली वो 4 घंटे में हो जाता है. So speed is going to be the autonomy. Ki, can I just go with Ritu and discuss an idea with Ritu and ship out something in 3 hours? Because it's not Ritu doing it anymore. It's not you. She's going to a dev and the dev will say, "Do aaj main bimar hu, aaj main ye nahi kar paunga." It's just instruction design. Third, do you have leverage to show it to the world? Today, if let's assume Athar comes to me or Rohit comes to me and says, "Bhaiya, I'm very good in B2B product management." Earlier, 5 years back, I would have still believed if he would have shown me a document. I would have said, "Yeah, makes sense." Today, I will not believe him. I'll say, "What does this document even do for me? Show me something that you have built. Show it to the world," right? And if I can't use the product, then bro, document anybody can write. I can go to a chat GPT and say, "Build me a B2B workflow about this," and it will give out the same document, probably longer than what Rohit had written, and said that it is done better. The real taste, the real judgment will be, can his idea, what he thought in his head, is actually coming out as a product which other people can use, right? And that is the reason writing has become the base. Earlier, writing was the output. Now, writing has become the base. The product is the output, right? So 3 things need to happen. You need to move towards building as a skill. Do you know what I have been doing in the last 1 month? I spent $600, $700, $800 just building products for my company, for myself. Whenever I ask people who are not coming from a good background, who have not done their discovery, they say, "Bhaiya, ये free में हो सकता है." Bro, आपकी नौकरी free हो जाएगी कुछ समय के बाद if you're not investing money there. So please try and understand that even this experimentation of learning, because right now it's the arbitrage moment. Not everybody knows how to leverage AI. Not everybody knows what is happening in the world of AI. So in this moment, if you start studying and improve your product intuition, improve judgment, improve thinking paradigms, and then apply them using good LLMs and probably ship out products, you might fail earlier. You will have still edges because there will be something to show for it. Even the founder of Shopify, Toby Lutke, he recently shipped out a library which is like an LLM switcher, which optimizes token costs, right? Where you can essentially do better instruction design. So the point that I'm trying to tell you is that this is the perfect time for people to learn the craft of building if you have not. Because after 2 years and 3 years, the arbitrage will be so much that even if you try to learn, you'll never compete with the people who have gone ahead. तो फिर यार मैं लास्ट में बताता हूँ, ये आज नहीं करोगे 3-4 साल बाद सरकारी नौकरी ही ढूंढनी पड़ेगी. ये सच बात है. Because that is where only job security will exist. And if you are gone that age, फिर देख लेना क्या करना है अपने हिसाब से. आगे चलते. So what will likely happen in the near future? Hiring will stay selective, but not stop. So all people who can think better, who have a think, what I mean by thinking better is think of a product, deep product. Like it's like saying, if I make one statement that make me a product which uploads photos, very simple statement, correct? Make me a product with, now an average product manager will say the product should be, I should select a photo, I should click on the upload button and it should get uploaded. That is what, or probably one more statement that it should be in a certain format, it should be of a certain size, etc. But do you know what a good PM will do? He'll break it down into at least 10 instructions. I'll tell you how, right? Which platform, right? If an API fails, then what will happen, right? In case if a photo format size is bigger, will you auto resize it? Fourth, right? How will you store those photos, right? Will they be stored in cache? Will they will not be stored in cache, right? How will you, and fifth, right, that if whether there will be shareability of that photo, right? Simultaneously, will I be able to do the same functionality on a web app, on a on a native app, on a desktop app, right? Will I be able to do so? Even a small statement of build me an app which upload photos can go deep into instruction design, where you can write 20 instructions to even do that small task. It's like saying, make me a cup of tea. You think that for an average person, there are only 2, 3 steps. Take a utensil, put water into it, put milk into it, put chini into it, and tea, and put chai patti into it. Tea is done. But for a great guy, say adrak dalni hai, nahi dalni hai, right? ये क्या कहते हैं, कितनी देर तक हीट करना है? What should be the heating paradigm? Should you put milk first or should you put water first? There is a very nice article written by George Orwell long back. You think how trivial of a statement it is to make a cup of tea. And George Orwell was one of the greatest, one of the very famous writers. He wrote an article on how to make a nice cup of tea. Why do you think? Do you think he's an idiot? That कि इतनी छोटी सी बात पे वो एक आर्टिकल लिख देगा कि how to make a nice cup of tea, right? Do you think he's an idiot कि इतनी छोटी सी बात पे इतना बड़ा legendary writer एक आर्टिकल लिख रहा है? No, bro. What I'm trying to tell you is even the small things that you think are very vague and very simple, they are very vague and simple for people who have not gone deep enough. If you take attention to detail, right, is what PMs are paid for. Really, really, it is like the same question. Go to Lovable, you can generate 2 landing pages, but one will convert at 50%, one will convert at 5%. What is the difference? Attention to detail. A lot of people think about the big things. Oh, there should, but do you know what is the reality? It's the small things which take care of the big things. हर एक को पता है कि अगर एक मेरे को ई-कॉमर्स वेबसाइट बनानी है, ऐड टू कार्ट डालना है या बाय नाउ डालना है, उसमें आप क्या स्पेशल कर रहे हो? But the reality is somebody who thinks what should be the color palette, what should be the right copy, right? What should be the interaction, that really determines that whether people will click on the buy now or will they not click. So hiring will stay selective. Only nuanced judgment-based hiring will grow. Right? More hybrid roles. Now PMs don't just do PMing. They also understand a lot about data. So I have been using Claude to learn about shipping by using Claude. तो मैं सिखा भी Claude ही रहा है और बना भी Claude ही रहा है. So they are becoming hybrid roles. Finally, experiments are going to become faster. Shravan is a product manager for 10 years. He has never shipped. In the last one month, I have shipped more products than I've shipped in the last 10 years of my life. Right? And I have been building so interesting products. Like recently, I built something in which what I did was I used my own webcam to essentially say that if I'm drinking tea multiple times, it should automatically say that you've drank tea 3 times. So I'm using my own LLMs. I recently built a RAG pipeline, put all scriptural knowledge in the RAG pipeline, and I'm just asking questions from that, and it's giving me deep answers from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, from etc., which probably a general LLM will not give you. So I have been playing with LLMs, and it's literally feels like a superpower that I am able to do this so quickly, right? Third, growth and distribution will rise. अब ये products बनाओगे, अच्छा product manager तो वो है ना जिसका काम दिख रहा है. आप जब मेरा काम दिख रहा है तभी तो बैठे हो यहाँ पे. If you didn't knew me at all, so why would you sit here in the first place? So growth and distribution is going to rise in value, and domain specialization will matter in some markets, but generally the generalist philosophy of shipping is going to take precedence. So if you're not shipping, if you're not building distribution, what I mean by if your work is not visible in front of a lot of people, please try and understand. जितनी देर घर पे बैठे हो अच्छी बात है, जब तक दे रही है कंपनी पैसे बहुत अच्छी बात है, जब नहीं देगी फिर बता. And they are not going to tell you 3 months in advance कि this is going to happen. It's going to happen one day. So please try and understand all judgment and taste-based roles are going to grow. It's like saying why Tanmay Bhatt is paid so much for a marketing campaign and there are marketing agencies which charge you 50,000 rupees a month to do the same thing. Why Tanmay Bhatt is charging 20? Because it is taste, it's creativity, it's skills which AI is still not good at. It's curiosity where it's not really good at, right? Where you create the differentiator, where you create the thinking paradigm, right? So वो roles grow करेंगे और उनके लिए तो ये golden age है. They are going to make tons and tons of money. Tons and tons of money because they know this is something people don't focus on. People generally don't like ambiguity, guys. If it's like you go in a dating paradigm and the girl always says, when you say, do you like her? And then you say, I don't know. Do you like that situation? It's a very similar situation. So people don't like ambiguity in life. They don't like ambiguity in life. But the reality is, great operators, which are paid very heavily, they thrive in ambiguity. They thrive in places like, look at Virat Kohli. Why is he such a legendary player? When everything was going wrong, when we didn't know that India will win the match, he played a great inning, and that's why he's a legendary player. So paradigm ही different है. For most people, ambiguity is a bad thing. For great people, ambiguity is the place where they'll do great stuff. And that is the reason those people are going to pay tons and tons and tons of money for everything. And this is the golden age for them. So what this means for you, learn to prove impact quickly, be fluent in the language of metrics, understanding instruction design, build products, and show that people are using your products. If you're not doing that, then saying is one thing. बोलना सबको आता है, करना सबको नहीं आता. इसीलिए मैं, it's like you cannot learn how to ride a bicycle by reading a book. So please try and understand, doing your hands dirty is the answer. There is no other answer. मुझे भी आज से probably 6 महीने पहले नहीं पता था कि Versal क्या होता है. But I just went into it. I asked an LLM to help me understand what is deployment mean, how does it happen, why does it work, what can I do, what's a machine, and it explained. And now I have been doing that across. And now there are so many services which do all of this for you. So how to tackle it? Very simply, the first 4 principles to follow. Number 1, product exists when your users are using it. So if you don't have distribution, start building distribution today. If you're not doing that, if you're not writing, if your content is not on the internet, if your products are not in the end, why do you see founders writing so much? The founder of Emergent, कल ही उसने पोस्ट डाली थी कि हमने Moltbot को यूज किया. Do you think he's sitting on Twitter all day and just learning about what Moltbot is doing? No, not really. He's saying that this is the way people will use my product. So if you say that I have made a product, but there is nothing to show for it, sorry, you're living in an old paradigm. Doesn't work. Right? It's like similar. मेरे बच्चे जो अब मेरे next program में आएंगे और श्रवण भैया ही कोई product नहीं दिखाते उनको, बोलेंगे हाँ आप ऐसे बना सकते हो. Will they believe me? They'll not believe me. Second, decisions matters. Judgment matters more than tasks. Tasks are dead. Please try and understand. Tasks का मतलब होता है जहां कोई ambiguity. What is the difference between a decision and a task? A task means no ambiguity. It's like having a cup of coffee in front of me and drinking it. It's a task. There is no thinking involved there. Huh? I would not say no thinking involved there. Some thinking is involved there. But then again, it's not abstract, wide, complicated thinking. But if I say to Atharv or Unnati that design this workshop, how it will work, now it's a decision. She has to think when Shravan will speak, who will speak after him, what is he going to speak on, why is it relevant, who are the students who will be sitting here, what will be their paradigm, will there be a poll, will there not be a poll? So decisions will matter more than tasks. Third, AI is a lever. It's not the outcome. If you don't know how to think, if your product fundamentals are not good, if your intuition, if your judgment, if your taste is not good, कुछ भी कर लो सर, जितने भी प्रोडक्ट, जितने प्रोटोटाइप, जितने टूल्स यूज करने कर लो यूज, कुछ नहीं होगा. ठीक है. And fourth, please show your impact. Show it to the world. Move away from different kind of judgment by others. Most people judge. I was the first person on LinkedIn to put memes. And do you know what people used to say at that given point to me? कि अबे तू तो मीम डालता है, तेरे को क्या आता? And the very same people are putting memes today and using it for engagement. So कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. So please make your impact visible. For people who build distribution, who ship products, who are creative, who are thinking very well, who can think deeply, who can act quickly, unke liye this is the age of lifetimes. Like when I got to know that models are becoming this good, I was the happiest person on earth, because for the last 10 years I was saying the same thing, but nobody probably understood at that given moment because there was nothing to show for it. So why most PM careers stall in the AI era, and why hard work is not the problem, right? There are 5 fundamental reasons for it. 1, there is timing, right? Most PMs think that market needs them, or they need the market, right? But good thinkers are always needed in the market. So they understand that no matter what is the age, for good thinkers, there are always going to be a place, but there have to be skills and proof to show for it. Second, they are now building. They are not saying. There is a very nice line in like show business: show, don't tell. Similar philosophy in products also. Show what you have built. Don't speak about it. Third, they leverage their personal brands. They build distribution. Even Naval, even all major, Akash Gupta is a very good friend of mine. Every PM is writing on the internet. Every PM. Why? Because they want to show their work to the world. Fourth, by showing their work to the world, they are showing that how much clarity do they have. So when I am shipping out, so I shipped out some courses through LLMs and essentially built them across, and I shared it with the group also, obviously, right? So what did I show there? I showed my clarity of thought that this is how a user will use that across, right? And fifth, they consistently are in touch with the core skills of the world. They have momentum, they have accountability partners, they keep themselves accountable. They understand that time is the most important asset. If they are not valuing time, then time will not value them. As simple as that. So if you're not in touch with the world, if you're sitting under a rock and you think that the only thing right now that AI just means a chat GPT interface where you can write stuff, then you're probably sitting under a rock. The world has moved way ahead. So please understand. So that is the reason they find similar people. They move away from places which are not driving, which are not pushing them to become better operators, and they find places where they can become better operators and be in that setting so that they can learn every single day, right? देखो यार, जैसे आपके दोस्त वैसा आपका जीवन. सिंपल बात समझो. ये नहीं समझ में आती ये बात तो फिर वही होगा. If your 5 people around you who you're speaking to every single day are not pushing you to become better in life, materially, spiritually, physically, then probably you don't have the right circle. So please try and understand. हर अच्छी बात करने वाला आपका मित्र नहीं है. Every person who talks sweetly to you is not your friend. Please try and understand this very clearly. A friend is a person who pushes you to move and become better every single day. So what is momentum? Find your own places. Go out of your way and say that what it can be a community. It can be a community like Rethink. It can be a community where you can be around operators. Not necessarily me. और भी बहुत अच्छे operators हैं, right? There can be tons of people, but you find such people and you say that every single day I'm learning and I'm showing it my work. ये करोगे ना 6 महीने, आपकी नौकरी कहीं नहीं जा रही और आपको बहुत पैसे मिलेंगे. ये भी मैं आपको गारंटी देता हूं. बिकॉज अनफॉर्चुनेटली रियलिटी पता क्या है? कितनी ही बात कर लो, कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन, the reality is not that. The reality is everybody wants outcomes only. They will never ask what is the input metric. They'll say what is the output metric. And that is the reason whenever I tell about my courses also, they say भैया क्या भैया नौकरी लगाते हो? भाई अगर मेरा वही काम होता तो फिर मैं टीचर हूं भाई, मुझे पढ़ाना अच्छा लगता है. I can teach you very well. It is your hard work which is going to take you there, right? And that is the reality. So unfortunately 99% of the world focuses a lot on outcomes, but the great operators, they focus on the process metrics. What am I doing every day to achieve that outcome, right? And that is why they are called 1% operator. इसीलिए हम रीथिंक को 1% operator community बोलते हैं. सब लोग नहीं चाहिए. 1500 एप्लीकेशंस में से 70 बच्चे आ चुके हैं. ये मैं क्लास इसलिए कर रहा हूं ताकि आप सबके लिए वैल्यूबल हो ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग. प्लीज ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड दिस, राइट? It my goal is to be around people who inspire me every day. Then the goal should never be that you should find an outcome at the end of it or something like that. And if people don't understand it, time will tell. Makes sense? आगे चलते. So we are going to talk about these 5 things. ठीक है? जल्दी जल्दी I'll move forward. Yes. First is timing. What usually goes wrong? People think that tools help, then judgment. Every person who comes to me, most people out of, भैया आप GPT सिखाते हो, भैया आप Perplexity सिखाते हो, भैया आप Gemini सिखाते हो, भैया do you teach this? How many tools will you learn? There are thousands of them. If that is the case, then you go in one company, there is somebody is teaching you mixed panel, and the next company there is somebody using Amplitude. Will you learn Amplitude? And then in the next company, somebody is using WebEngage, then you learn WebEngage. And every company you learn one new tool, one new tool, one new tool, one new tool. यही सब करना है क्या जीवन में? Please try and understand, tools are a means to an end. You have to learn. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि you should not understand how Mixpanel works, but understand why you should use it. You should use it to build a funnel which is logical for the business to use. That is the outcome metric. And now you should know how functionality. I am saying learning to know a tool should be a determinant of the thinking paradigm. I have been using all LLMs. I'm using Codex, I'm using Claude Code, and I'm getting equally good prompts everywhere. मैंने कभी जाके ऐसे नहीं किया कि I did a tutorial on 10 hours on Claude Code and then I understood how Claude Code works. No, I understood how instruction design works, how good prompting works. and it works similar. Huh? Up some models have some nuance, like Claude Code is slightly more tailored towards coding. Gemini is slightly more tailored towards generalist marketing use cases or thinking or content use cases. GPT is tailored towards parallel tasks, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, but the core principles remain the same. So please, sir, I'm saying it and once it for last time, tools will never help. Please try and understand. I'm calling this out. ये हाई लेवल इंफॉर्मेशन पढ़ के अपने जीवन को मत प्लान करो, क्योंकि जीवन वैसे ही कर देगा आपको प्लान. Second, they stay shallow. They never ask, why is GPT working a certain way? Why is Claude Code or the reasoning model or Opus 4.5 good at building? Whereas probably Codex, which is their IDE, which is using 5.2 in GPT, is not as good. Even if you ask GPT that, why is Claude Code better than you? It will give you a good response. It will tell you it's tailored towards something else. Claude Code not, it's the Claude model. Claude Code is just an IDE, right? Basically. So please go deeper. The second, the good part is skill life has become half. I don't think it's 12 to 18 months. Unnati ne 12 to 18 months आप सबके लिए लिखा है. मुझे लगता है it's 3 months, 4 months, honestly speaking. And roles are evolving faster than learning plans. So if you think that today you learned Jira, Atlassian is only shipping out AI features, that the thing that you learned 2 months back has become irrelevant today. The very same company for which you learned and you paid some money to learn Jira. Right? And third is, most hiring is rewarding clarity and ownership. Look at any good people. Look at Claire. Look at Lenny. Every person is saying rewarding ownership, taking accountability, right? So what actually fixes timing? Please learn, build, and build distribution. Second, practice close to the hiring expectations. What are the hiring expectations? Have clarity, have ownership, have judgment, have nuance. और वो कैसे दिखेगा? By your products that you ship, that the products that you built across. How will I know if Ritu is a great painter or not? One is, she will say it. Oh, I am a great painter, bhaiya. I know how to use pastel colors and everything. The second is, she'll show me a painting that this is what I made. It will automatically give me a reference of whether she has good thinking, good nuance or not. Third, please constantly learn about what is happening in the market, and that will only happen through momentum, by being around the right people. If you're not around the right people, you are anyway lost. Things are not going to work that way. So that is what timing is. And please try and understand, for good product managers, there is nothing called a good market or a bad market. They are always desired. मैं आपको एक सिंपल सवाल पूछता हूँ, सच्ची जवाब देना अपने आप से. If I today close rethink and I want to go into a product role, do you think I'll find difficulty to moving into a product role? Why do you think so? क्यों आप मेरे लिए क्यों ना बोल रहे हो और अपने लिए हाँ बोल रहे हो? Just because I can speak well, do you think that's the reason? Just because I have 200,000 followers on LinkedIn, that's the reason? नहीं यार, those are all outcomes. The reason is, probably have spent considerable amount of time in learning how to think better, which is evident in the way I talk, which is evident in the way I speak, which is evident in what I ship. So there is enough proof for it. If you really have to understand, is Shravan a good product manager or not? Do you have to speak to Shravan for it? Not really. There is enough proof on the internet. Similarly, that proof is visible to everyone. आपको जानना है मैं अच्छा पढ़ाता हूं कि नहीं, जाओ ना मेरे चैनल पे. 5 मिलियन लोग तो ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं, आप भी पढ़ लो. आपको खुद समझ में आ जाएगा कि मैं अच्छा पढ़ाता हूं कि नहीं पढ़ाता हूं. Whether I teach well or not. You don't have to come to Shravan Bhaiya and say, does Shravan Bhaiya teach well or not? So that is why timing matters. Timing is so critical. Second, building. Most people think going to Lovable, writing a prompt and it makes a landing page, that's a product. No, that's not a product. They have no real users. Prototype का मतलब होता है कि there is today in the world, it is a production grade prototype where people can use it. Recently, I shipped out the entire LMS for Rethink Systems. Learning management system पूरा ही ship कर दिया 3 दिन में. And that is the same system which students of this batch and all my previous batches are going to use in the next 7 days. That is now, after they will use it, and will they ever doubt the fact that Shravan doesn't know how to build? It is proof. They're using it in their real lives, right? So what real building focuses on? One clear problem, solve it very deterministically, and what decisions should you make to make that happen, make that entire product. So what looks like building is a nice UI, many features, long talks. What is actually building is hard trade-offs, actual users using it, clear prioritization, and one success metric. And that is the reason हमारा program है ना 2 days में split होता है. Saturday I talk about product fundamentals, that how do you think better, how do you do nuance, how, and Sunday is focused on building. The reason is because if they don't know what is happening on Saturday, they'll never be able to do anything on Sunday. So, and I'll tell you very honestly, if your product intuition is bad, then building sessions will not even be useful to you, because you will always be confused कि भैया पढ़ा क्या रहे हैं? How is he doing? How is he making this choice? So please, thinking is key, judgment is key. So please start shipping. Third, leverage. What is leverage? Leverage का मतलब है आपका काम कितने लोग देख रहे हैं, right? Today, most people, what do? They make a resume. They say, oh, I made a beautiful resume. I went to this website, which made me a very nice UI. My photo is looking very nice. But do you know, for one position, there are 2,500 applications. So if your application never got the views that it wanted to get, तो आपके resume से हुआ क्या? It's like saying, I am going into a particular place and Rakshita makes a very nice resume, very beautiful. She has all the right information into it, but the recruiter never reached there to look at her profile in the first place. So what will that resume do? Will it do anything for you? It's not going to do anything. So what is really standing out? If Rakshita is writing every single day, she's saying she made a product. Probably in 2 days, nothing will happen. But if she does it for 3 months, 4 months, everybody starts seeing it. And then Rakshita's resume comes and she says, oh, this is the same person. आपको पता है मेरे साथ क्या होता है जब भी मैं बैंगलोर एयरपोर्ट पे जाता हूँ? 2 चीजें जरूर होती है. कहते ये तो श्रवण भैया है, या दूसरा पता क्या बोलते हैं? बोलते अरे he's the same guy who puts funny content on LinkedIn. But they recognize me. And why do you recognize me? Because I am visible every single day to you. हर दिन मेरी शक्ल देखते हो किसी ना किसी तरीके से. So if I put my resume somewhere, why would they not see it? Why would they not recognize me? And that is the reason, the third important skill set, storytelling. Recent, अभी आपको पता है निखिल कामत ने हमने WTF podcast में भी यही बोला था entrepreneurs को, develop storytelling, because that is the only way you will stand out. And that is another very strong tenet of our program. I am myself a creator, right? You put effort into offers, low leverage effort, just watch content, feel nice about it, try once, moving on, learning that stays private. High leverage effort, written thinking, show it to the world, public artifact, repeatable problems. And if you are afraid of what people will think, तब तो फिर आप यार पीछे ही रह गए. क्योंकि मैं आपको सच बता रहा हूं, please stop thinking what people are thinking of you, because they are not thinking of you. Please try and understand. You are not that important. Please try and understand this. Please, I'll repeat this statement. Please stop thinking what people are thinking of you, because they are not thinking of you. Please try and understand this well. So how strong PM scale? They build proof of competence. They use thinking across problems. They let effort compound over time. They are patient. They know how to essentially build and take time to build leverage. And finally, clarity. Because you will push out your proof of work, you will get enough and more feedback. Slowly and steadily, you will start understanding, oh, wow, I probably missed this feature in my product. I should have made it, because somebody came, like Rais Bhai will come and he'll make a resume reviewer. And then I put a feedback, Rais Bhai, it doesn't allow doc files. So then he'll say, oh, हाँ श्रवण भैया, मैंने तो PDF के लिए ही बनाया था, docs तो कभी सोचा ही नहीं. So introduced clarity, introduce the fact, and unless and until you show your work to the world, how will clarity come? हम वैसी बात करते कि अरे मैं कमरे में बैठा हूं 10 घंटे, मैंने काम किया, मुझे बहुत clarity है. No, clarity is a determinant of what other people will say, whether you have clarity or not, right? So it means knowing which problem matters, knowing how success is measured, knowing what to ignore, and how does it come? Repeated decisions, repeatedly building something, clear ownership and feedback loops. And how feedback will come? Previous point, leverage. You will show it to the world, people will start using it. Like I'm sure Rais Bhai knows that we put मेरा जो vibe coding वाला course है, and then Harshit basically gave a feedback कि भैया the upper ceiling, the progress bar is not working. That's why unless and until I shipped it out, how will he give me that feedback? And now I got that feedback, I fixed it, and I said, this is how it works. Finally, please sir, change your circle. I put my hand folded request to everyone. Please move towards people who can give you honest feedback. There is a difference between a critic and a cynic. Please don't be around cynics, but be around a critic. A cynic is someone who knows the price of everything but the value of nothing. A critic is someone who will give you honest feedback. और अगर आपको feedback से बुरा लगता है, then you probably have very high ego. And do you know what is the great part about amazing operators? They have no ego. They like bad feedback. They say it is the best way so that I can improve. Unless and until, और किसी को अगर आप किसी मोटे इंसान को मोटा बोल रहे हो, हाँ, you should be respectful, but उसको बुरा नहीं लगना चाहिए, because it is the thing that he should take away and improve his life. I was fat like 4 months back. I was, and a lot of my students used to say that. But if I would have taken that as an offense, would I have moved towards a fitter life in life? What is more important, you be fit or somebody says you nice words? So please try and understand, move towards people who can build accountability partners, a daily trackable system, and of course, in some way, shape, or form. मेरा नाम उन्नति ने जानबूझ के लिख दिया, and of course, Shravan भैया, but that is okay. There can be other people, right? So these are the. So what are the 5 things? I'll repeat. Timing. That you will learn, you will move from shallow depth to deeper thinking. That how first principles operate. Second, you will actually ship products. You will not care about what people really think about them. You will build. Third, you will build a personal brand, learn storytelling so that people can see your work beyond resumes. Fourth, because of this, or the second and third part, there will be more clarity because you'll get more feedback. And fifth, you'll be around people who give you honest feedback, and that is momentum. And you will keep learning about what is happening in the world. So this is why structured learning matters. I did a very famous video on YouTube. It has 40,000 views. What courses should you buy, right? You can learn from anywhere, right? YouTube, blog, free courses. Access is not the problem. The real problem is access does not solve shallow understanding. Access does not solve slow feedback. Access does not solve accountability. YouTube तो सबके लिए, मैं अपने YouTube चैनल पे सर इतना पढ़ा चुका हूं ना कि मेरे को खुद ही नहीं पता मैंने कितना पढ़ाया हूं. That much information I have taught, right? But because of that, how many people really went ahead and really applied that across? Only probably 1,000-1,500 people, जिसमें से बहुत सारे यहीं बैठे. A lot of people are sitting here, right? So please don't think कि किताब भगवत गीता हर एक के घर में पड़ी होती है. पढ़ता कौन है? It's like very similar. Watching a YouTube video does not make you smart. Doing something about it makes you smart. So please try and understand that if you think that just sitting on YouTube, ये तो free में मिल जाएगा मेरे को. हाँ भाई, free में मिलेगा, 100% मिलेगा. But time is a cost. The time you will take to figure this out, that in 7 months, what depth it is, and the bigger cost is time. And that's the reason you should watch that video that I did on YouTube channel. Unnati will share it across, that how do you select a program for yourself. So please, if you are very self-determined, if you have the right circle, if you know, if you can develop it, हाँ चले जाओ यार YouTube पे, आपको 1 रुपया भी नहीं खर्चना. 1 रुपया भी नहीं खर्चना चाहिए आपको. अगर आपके पास ये है, अगर आप बहुत डिटरमिन्ड हो, खुद काम मेरी तरह रोज लिख सकते हो, और कोई एक्सटर्नल मोटिवेशन नहीं चाहिए. But 99.9% of the world does not do that. So please try and understand, that is the reason you need a guru. You need a mentor who can essentially guide you to develop that depth across, right? And that is why it is important, right? And why this happens, watching does not force decisions. Reading does not test judgment. Solo learning hides mistakes. So please try and understand that the right way to think is develop depth, break real problems, explain your decisions, defend trade-offs, be in a momentum. सोचना नहीं आया तो कुछ नहीं आएगा. ये मैं आज बता रहा हूं. So AI will not fix weak thinking. It will expose it faster. Please try and understand this. Somebody who has a very good thinking bent will outperform you drastically versus someone who does not. So अगर आपको ये लगता है कि AI tools से आपका जीवन सॉर्ट हो रहा है, नहीं, उन्हीं का सॉर्ट हो रहा है who are really good learners, who have taken learning as a core paradigm of their life, who are shipping every day, who are building every day, who are building momentum every day, who are learning to do stuff every single day, right? उनके लिए AI is a gold mine. But for others, it is going to take your job the first, right? Last thing. So why operator environments, and why you should essentially understand strong PMs don't grow alone, or strong operators don't grow alone. They force you to say your thinking out loud. They expose blind spots. They create repetition until judgment kicks in. They build a shared language. This reduces weak thinking, wrong learning cycles, random effort. I have seen enough and more people who don't make the choice of joining a program, and अच्छे programs, right? And again, I'm calling my program a good program because that is the mindset that I carry, right? And versus, and they spend 1 साल पूरा लगा के फिर घूम के मेरे ही पास आते. They come to me only कि भैया 1 साल लगा दिया, time waste हो गया, कुछ नहीं किया. right? So please, a good program increases the speed of correction, it increases your confidence in interviews, it builds you proof of competence, which is very, very important. So please be around the right people. If you're not around the right people, it will not work, right? Lastly, the real frame. PM careers are not stalling because of bad luck, bad market, bad tools. They are stalling because learning stays unstructured, building produces no signal, effort doesn't compound, thinking is never trained, momentum is not there, or they don't have the right operator network. AI does not change this. It reveals shallow PM will struggle faster, structured operators will stand out now. The difference is not talent, it's the system you learn inside. If your system is not right, don't blame it on bad luck, bad market, bad tools. Please don't do that. So, and if they're there, last few seats are left, 4, 5. Please check out our programs. That is going to be super amazing. And this cohort is going to be insane, man. बहुत मजा आने. I'm personally very excited for it because I'm going to teach so insane stuff. So lovely. I hope everybody enjoyed. And please, हमारे program में कुछ seats बची हुई हैं. Please do apply. Humble brag. और मेरे videos like कर दिया करो और मुझे थोड़े likes दे दिया. बाकी सब बढ़िया. चलो मिलते हैं. बाय बाय. टेक केयर.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
everyone.